everybody, and welcome back to Life with Lolo. It is time for our weekly recap of Sistas. This is season 4, episode 5, and it was titled Life, Soul, and Heart. Before I jump into this recap review, if you are not already subscribed to my channel, please go ahead and hit that subscribe button along with the thumbs up button and hit the notification bell to be notified when I drop new videos. Real quick, I just want to say thank you to Miss Walton. I believe I said that right. Yes, Miss Walton for the Cash App. I truly appreciate it. Thank you so very much. You really didn't have to do that, but thank you for the Cash App. If anybody else wants to send any type of donation or Cash App or anything like that, I will put it on my community feed or community page, whatever, but it is not necessary. If you want to do something out of the kindness of your heart, like, I'm not going to say no, you know what I mean? I'm not going to say no. But anyway, but like for real, Ms. Walton, you really didn't have to do that, but I truly appreciate it. And I truly appreciate all the comments and all the love that everyone continues to show me each and every time I post a video. All right, with that out the way, let's jump into this recap review, y'all. It really wasn't too much that happened on this episode, but it had some cute little moments. Anyway, we see Danny. So the guy, he showed up, the trafficker or whatever, but turns out he not really a trafficker. Danny got the knife, she ready, she like, let's go. I'm from Detroit. What you not finna do is run up in my apartment and not get stabbed or whatever. So he like, I'm telling you, Danny, I'm not no trafficker. So he tried to go for his badge or whatever. She like, oh, you got a gun? All right, let me get a couple stabs and let me... I said, girl, you doing all this talking. If you was going to stab him, you would have jabbed him already. But he like, no, for real, I'm a cop or whatever. So he tells her that he was undercover at the airport to catch the guys who are trafficking the girls, or to get the trafficked girls. Because the girl got off the elevator, got off the plane, but it was nobody near her unless she had to go meet somebody in baggage claim or whatever. So I guess he intercepts the girls getting off the plane and then takes them to, you know, this community center or shelter or wherever. But no, he said he rejoins them with their family. But then I think he said something like all the girls who don't have homes or something, they meet up. I don't know. But at any rate, he was telling her that. So she was like, I don't really believe you. So then he was like, well, I'm going to get my badge. So he pulled out the badge and she was like, you got that from the Dollar Tree. He was like, no, for real, this is a real badge or whatever. She was like, I know somebody, I got a friend who can make them. He was like, oh, for real, you got a friend, I would like to meet him. She was like, well, you know, that sounded real cop-like, but for real, he ain't really my friend. He lives somebody I know. I was like, girl, but dude was like, well, don't you find it strange that only you was running up on me at the airport, like security ain't do nothing, only you and your shoe had tackled me and got me down or whatever. So she was like, So he was like, for real, I'm a cop. So she was like, all right, whatever. It seemed like at the end she kind of believed him a little bit, but she did still say that she was going to keep her eye on him. So then we see Andy, she getting ready to go to work and stuff. So she called Bree up real quick and basically told Bree to call Danny up because Karen wants everybody to meet over at Andy's house to talk to her or whatever. And Bree like, well, Danny ain't going to be there because, you know, she's still mad at Karen. So she was like, that's why I'm telling you to call, because if I call her, she going to cuss me out or hang up. Bree was like, yeah, you right. So she was like, well, damn, you had to agree. She was like, no, but for real, I'll see what I can do. So she was like, okay. Bree in the break room, child, with this orange and this banana. I guess it was her breakfast or whatever. I said, okay, girl. But Maurice come in there. He sits down and he like, don't talk to me, Bree. Don't talk to me. Because he mad about the whole hookup thing last night. So she was like, well, what did y'all do or whatever? He was like, well, you know, girl, we talked about mink lashes and we did some crochet braiding and we did all this or whatever. She was like, oh, for real? He was like, bitch, I'm playing. I'm blind. He was like, stay out my business, Bree. Stay out my business. She was like, oh, okay. Her phone ringing. It's Danny. Danny ends up telling Bree, like, you know, she almost stabbed old boy or whatever because she was like, the trafficker came to my house. She was like, oh, my God. Did you call the cops? She was like, no, turns out he is the cops or whatever. She was like, what? She was like, yeah, he told me he undercover and stuff and he trying to get the traffickers or whatever. And, but I almost stabbed him. He almost was dead or whatever. She was like, oh, girl, Well, somehow they got to where it was like they brought up Karen name or something. She was like, well, speaking of Karen, Andy wants you to come over to her house tonight because Karen wants to talk to us or whatever. She was like, I ain't coming. She was like, come on, girl, you got to come. You got to. She was like, I'm not coming. She want to make me jealous, calling me up because Preston there or whatever. I'm not coming over there or whatever. So then she ends up hanging up on Brie. So who knows if Danny gonna be there? You know how Danny be saying she ain't gonna be there. Then she turned up 30 minutes later, whatever, just so she can be nosy. But we see Karen. She at work. She come in there, Pam, her little. She's so stupid. She's talking about. She was like, girl, what's wrong? Something in your eyelash? You need your eyelash coming off again? She was like, girl, no, she's here again. So the lady who came like a couple days ago in the suit, she back there in the suit or whatever. And she asking for Zach. So Karen like, look, I told you I don't know where he at. I don't know, what's going on with him or whatever like that. He don't live with me. So like, I don't know why you keep popping up here. So she was like, well, did you go see him last night or whatever? And so Pam was like, no, bitch. And so Karen was like, girl, come on. She was like, no, because she asking all these questions. She don't need to be asking all these questions. Like she, just because the cops don't give her the right to ask all these questions. And so the lady was like, I'm not the cops. So I'm thinking, well, then who the hell is she? So they never asked, like, well, who are you? If you're not the cops, then who are you and what do you want? Because she was like, I'm not the cops. I'm just somebody who want to meet up with Zach or something or got questions for Zach. So I'm like, well, who the hell is she? Like, do she work for the IRS? Like, who she work for? Because she dressed in some, like, business type suit. Like, she a big, powerful person type thing. So, like, who is she or whatever? But she didn't say, and then it was like this awkward silence or whatever because Pam was basically like, we don't know where he at. We not answering no questions so you can get to going. And she was still like standing there. So then Pam was like, well, why she still standing there or whatever? Karen was like, I don't know because you already said what you had to say. So then the lady was like, all right, well, if you see him or you hear about him or hear from him or whatever, let him know that I'm looking, that I'm watching him, not watching him, looking for him or whatever. So they was just like, all right, girl, bye. So then Pam was like, oh no, we gonna find out who this bitch is. We gonna find out who this bitch is. So she took some paper or whatever. She was like, I'm gonna write down a license plate. She never did write down a license plate, child, but of course we gonna pretend like she did. But so Karen was like, she was like, what you want to write down the license plate for? She was like, because I got a boo that work at a DMV and we going to find out about her. I'm going to find all about her. Okay. So she was like, all right, well, when you find out, let me know. Of course, girl, I'm going to let you know. She was like, all right, well, I'm going to go ahead and file these taxes. She was like, oh, yeah, because you got to file them taxes since Zach gave you that money. She was like, no, girl, I'm trying to buy me a house. Oh, okay, for you and the baby. She was like, Pam. She was like, girl, that girl deaf over there. She been folding up towels all damn day. She can't hear that. But yeah, you need to go and get you a nice house. I know a good realtor or whatever. She was like, all right, girl. She was like, you hungry? I'm going to go get some food. So Pam said she going to get some food. While she was leaving, she going to yell at the girl folding up towels, talking about stuff. Bitch, stop folding up them towels. You been folding them towels up for the last hour. She was like, see, I told you that bitch can't hear nothing. I was cracking up. I said, Pam is stupid. Back at the bank, Maurice's phone ringing off the hook. He ignoring it or whatever. Come to find out, Bree looking over, she like, it say it's from the correctional facility or whatever like that. So, of course, we know who that is. It's Q. And child, Q trying to get in contact with his boo thing because he need a place to stay, basically. So, Maurice finally answered the phone after he shooed Bree off or whatever. He finally answers the phone. Because like Bree was asking about how Calvin was, and Maurice was like, I haven't talked to Calvin, I haven't seen him this morning or whatever. So he was just talking about the vibrator, Bree be getting uncomfortable with that child. So then she finally left. So not Calvin, Maurice answered the phone. So he like, why you keep calling me or whatever? Like, what do you want? He was like, you finally answered my call, whatever. He was like, yeah, well, why you keep calling me though? Why you keep calling me? He was like, because I just want to know if you had thought about, what I talked about or whatever. He was like, no, I ain't think about it because you're not moving in with me. So he was like, well, we get a little something, you don't miss this. He was like, what? Stop talking about the sex, okay? I've had better. He was like, no, you haven't. He was like, yes, I have, okay? He was like, what did he say? Something about, I can't think of what Maurice said, but here go Q. I'm trying to come home to my man. I'm trying to be your man. I said, what? Boy, since when? Because before, when Maurice wanted you to be his man, you put a gun up to his head and tried to rob the bank. So what is we doing? But anyway, Maurice was like, no, you trying to find a place to stay because you're homeless, okay? He was like, yeah, I mean, that's true, whatever. He was like, yeah, that's what I thought. So stop calling me or whatever because I'm not answering. He was like, well, I'm going to keep calling. He was like, well, I'm going to keep not answering. He was like, all right. I said, these two is a hot-ass mess. Andy go to work, child. She in a parking lot. Fatima... and she come up walking in her little blue dress and stuff like that. I said, is Fatima ass getting bigger? Because her booty looking nice and rump in that blue dress. But anyway, child, they talking. And Andy was basically bringing up the fact that Fatima had beat up Hayden. And she can't really do that because she'll go to jail and stuff. And then Fatima was like, well, my homies, they know how to, keep stuff on the low where they don't get caught up and all this other stuff. Andy was like, girl, you crazy, but if anything happened to me, I know who to go to if I need somebody to get beat up. She was like, and do. So then here come Hayden. Child, why Tyler got that man walking like that? First of all, he ain't got no cast on his leg. But he had some crutches, child. So he got his briefcase like this, hanging on his neck. I'm sorry. He had the briefcase hanging on his neck. He looks so stupid. So, of course, Fatima laughing. And he tried not to laugh. I'm like, girl, that shit is funny because he looks stupid. He looked like he was sliding all over. He just looks dumb. So Fatima was like, well, I hope you learned your lesson or whatever. And so he like, don't say shit to me. Don't both of y'all don't say shit to me. I don't want to hear nothing from both of y'all. Don't say shit to me. So he looked like he's about to walk on about his business. And Fatima was like, I hope you learned your lesson or whatever. He was like, oh no, I'm just getting started or whatever. You think what I started was something like I'm just getting started. She was like, see, and Andy was like, Fatima. She was like, see, you just be trying to you keep doing this, right? And then somebody gonna end up in a body bag. And he was like, yeah, you. So then of course she was like, oh, thanks for that threat or whatever. And thanks for this bruise you gave me on my face. And so Andy was like, yeah, and I'm a witness to it, whatever. So he was like, oh, for real? Oh, okay. So then he started trying to move. While Fatima tried to trip him, child. I was cracking up. So then the little spongy part on his scratch fell off. He just looked as stupid, like just dumb. And then she was like, well, don't make me post them naked pictures of you on the hood of the car. He was like, oh, what? Oh, what? Or whatever. So then he finally just walked away all limping. And then why he goes to the steps? They ain't got no elevator. Girl. Oh, God. Anyway, we see Danny. She at the airport working or whatever, child. The cop dude come over to her and basically he flirting with her. He want to get her number. He thinks she real cute and stuff. He asking her out to dinner. She like, no, I don't want you to come out to dinner with me. I don't want to go out to dinner, yada, yada, yada. And she see the ring on his finger. She's so damn shady. Talking about, oh, no, I don't mess with married men. But I got this friend. Her name Angie. I was cracking up. I said she's shady as shit. But anyway, she like, yeah, he like, no, this is for the cover. This is, for the role I'm playing or whatever like that. I'm not married. I can take it off and stuff. She was like, no, don't do that on my account. And so then they started talking and stuff and flirting. And so he ended up saying like some of the girls go to this community center or whatever. And he was looking for volunteers. So she said, oh, that would be nice. I'll be willing to, check it out or whatever. So he was like, oh, okay, we could talk more about it over dinner. So then he ended up getting his date. So then they going to go out to dinner, child, and talk about all that they can talk about. At the bank, Calvin show up. He want to apologize to Bree for last night and stuff. And he was like, I shouldn't have left you. I shouldn't have, did what I did and stuff like that. She ended up agreeing with him because what he did was just stupid. And so she was like, but I understand you was just trying to protect me and show that you was a man and, you know, the whole Jacoby thing and stuff. And he was like, yeah, no, that's not what I was doing it for. I was doing it because he disrespected me. And regardless if you was there or not, I was going, you know, do the same thing. So she was like, oh, okay. So he was just like, well, you know, I just want to move forward or whatever, and this ain't got nothing to do with Jacoby. So she was like, but you had brought Jacoby's name up last night. And he acted like he didn't even remember bringing Jacoby's name up. So he was just like, well, can we just move on? Can we just get past this or whatever? Of course she agreed. He said he wanted to take her out to dinner. He was going to take her back to that restaurant. She was like, no, because remember, dude who he was fighting with owns the restaurant. So she was just like, no, let's just go somewhere else. And so they going to figure out when they going to go or whatever. Preston then showed up to the salon with his boo thing again. Apparently, he didn't got the girl hair wet. Who knows if they was having some shower bout, chicky wow wow, or what child. But her hair all fluffed up and stuff like that. So he get her hair done again. Karen was just like, come back to the back and talk to me, Preston, or whatever. So he goes to the back. And well, she took him to the back and talked to him. And she like, well, what you want me to do? Why are you bringing this girl back up here? He was like, because, you know, I messed her hair up. And I want her hair to get redone. And I know you was going to do it, whatever. She was like, so you don't want me to call Danny? You want me to call Danny and let her know that you here? He was like, oh, no, don't call Danny. Don't do that. So I'm like, is you sure you don't really want her to call Danny? Like, what's going on? So he like, no, don't call her, whatever. So she like, all right, I ain't gonna call her, whatever, like that. And so he ends up leaving, and she tells him before he left out the office, like, if you trying to make her jealous, this ain't the way to do it. He claimed he not, but but anyway, she ends up calling Zach because she want to find out who this lady is. Fatima ended up picking up Zach's phone because their cases look the same or whatever. So she got his phone. So Karen called Zach, but Fatima answered. And she like, hello? And so Fatima like, well, hello, who this? And so she was like, well, is Zach there? She was like, no, Zach not here or whatever. And so she was like, oh, okay, well, can you tell him I called? So she was like, and she never say what her name was. So Fatima was like, well, who is this? And she was like, oh, this is Karen. So then, of course, Fatima rolled her eyes. And then Karen was like, well, who is this? And here go Fatima, the girl who answered the phone. I said, you could have just said Fatima. Like, you ain't had to do all that. But whatever. So then she was just like, well, Karen was like, well, is Zach there? She was like, no, he's not here. She was like, I don't think I believe you or whatever. She was like, well, you don't need to. So don't worry about it. But I'll let him know you called. So then they hang up or whatever. She ends up calling Zach. Fatima ends up calling Zach. Zach all in his new house and stuff. He proud of himself or whatever. He walking around. Fatima calls Zach and like, yo, I got your phone. And he was like, well, how you got my phone if I just answer my phone? She was like, you got my phone. So he's like, oh, damn, I told you to change the case out or whatever. So they start talking. He's saying like he don't really need his phone. He'll just use her phone or whatever. And she like, because she kept saying like, come pick up your phone. He like, no, I don't really need it. And I'm like, well, if you trying to make business deals, especially you trying to work with, what's that boy name? Gary and Jake or whatever. If they call you, you want to miss the phone call or whatever. So you going to need your phone. And then if you still doing stuff with the houses and stuff, you going to need your phone. So like, stop perpetrating. But he like, no, I ain't going to need it or whatever. I'll just use your phone if you give me the password. So she looking like, the password? So she ends up giving him some fake password, Tima 255 or some shit like that. So he was like, yes. Gave me the password. So he all excited and stuff. So she was like, well, I'm gonna need to use your phone or whatever. So he was like, all right, no, I ain't there with the password yet. So she was like, yeah, that's what I thought. So come get your phone or whatever. But then he was like, all right, here go the password 1054. So he ends up giving her his password. She was just like, So she go in there, it opened up the phone. She was like, oh my God, I got you, it actually worked or whatever. So then she just going through the phone, child, just going through the phone. He was like, Fatima, don't go through my phone. She was like, ain't nobody going through your phone, boy. Ain't nobody going through your phone. I'll talk to you later, bye. Child, she was just all going through the phone. Who the fuck is Angie? Who did that? So then he go put in the password. It don't work. He's talking about, she done gave me a fake password. It be your own people. It be your own people. See, this is why I got two phones. This is why I got two phones. Or you gotta be ahead of the females or whatever. I said, So what you doing in that other phones at? Let's talk about it. But we at the bank, and this was a pointless scene, but Chris from the club, he came in there. What was he wearing? Let's just talk about what he was wearing, child. Because he had on this little choker, this little blingy choker, gold, and it looked greenish or something like that, child. And then some cowboy boots, some little loose button up. And so he looked just a mess. And then like the little curl in his little head. What was that? But anyway, he comes to the bank all late and stuff trying to get money out. Like he couldn't just go to the ATM machine because he had his card and his stuff. So I don't understand why he just ain't goes to the ATM and get the money out that he needed for the club. But he went to the inside the bank. Now I can understand if he was trying to get low denominations of the money, like some 1s or 5s or something like that. Because some machines, they don't do all that. But he wasn't. He had got big bills, so I didn't really understand why he had went into the bank. But I guess it was to talk to Maurice about Q getting out of jail. But Maurice had already knew that Q was getting out of jail, so it really wasn't no need for this scene. But anyway, he talked to Maurice about Q. Maurice basically like, all right, girl, you can go. Bree over here in the conversation. So she go over when Chris finally leave and go over to Maurice and questioning him like, are you talking to Q? Are you helping Q out? Are you doing this with Q? And of course, Maurice like, no, girl, mind your business. And so then he like, well, can I go? Because I already did my balance and checks and all this other stuff. And so she like, well, yeah, whatever, you could go, but leave Q alone. He's like, okay. So then he leaves. At the salon, Karen in there, she doing somebody's head. Let's talk about the stylist beside Karen. What was going on with his head, y'all? I just need y'all to tell me, because it looked like he had like a swoopy over here, but then like the back, it looked like, at first I thought it was like a cut, but then it wasn't. It was like a gel, like he used the brown gel and like smoothed it over or something. Like it was supposed to be like a wrap, but then it didn't quite connect here. And I didn't understand what was going on. So y'all let me know, because I was real confusion with that. I said, what's going on with that man's head? But neither here nor there. She working on a girl head, pressed the new boo or whatever, and Pam's taking her to the dryer and stuff, and Pam's talking about something, you better have your white cowboy wait for you, girl. I'm about to try me a white boy. I said, not try a white boy. But anyway, Aaron came into the salon. He had like this big grocery bag talking about his lunch. I said, well, damn, how much food is Karen eating? But, Pam was like, somebody gonna give me a refund on some lunch because I already brought lunch or whatever. So Aaron like, oh, my bad, Pam, my bad. And so they start talking and laughing and yada, yada, yada. Karen said, she was tired, her feetsies hurted, so she had to go to the back. He was like, well, come on, baby, I'll take you to the back and rub on your feet. So she was like, okay. So Pam was like, oh, I wish I had me a man that rub on my feet. But he need to go put her in a pedicure chair because her feet is rough. They rough. And so she starts talking about everybody's feet in the salon and stuff like that. They in the back. Aaron just massaging the foot. She like, oh yeah. She getting all tingly and stuff. She ready to jump on him. Ready to bow chicky wow wow with him or whatever. So she keeps telling him he's sweet. And he like, well, why you keep saying I'm sweet and stuff? She was like, cause you are. You just are. But I'm just waiting for the, the next shoe to drop or whatever. And he was like, why you want to see me at my worst? She was like, well, I think we should all see everybody at their worst or whatever. And he was like, I think you already see me at my worst, drunk, out of control and stuff. And she was like, yeah. And she was like, you just saw me at my worst, all this drama and stuff. And he like, yeah. And so, he said something like, I'm trying to get better or whatever. Cause she was like, well, you seem to be so happy. Like you know how to handle it real well or whatever. He was like, well, not all the time or whatever. I'm trying to control myself or something like that. Child, they sitting there, he massaging the foot, and she just sitting there looking at him, and then she just blurted out, I'm pregnant. I said, damn, girl, you could have warmed up to it or something. Like, what about kids? You feel like having children? What about the babies? You ever think about having a baby? You raised 2 kids, that wasn't yours. But how about, raising a baby? Like something, girl. Like, what about Pampers or bibs or something? And then, but by the way, I'm pregnant. But not, he massaging your foot and you like, I'm pregnant. I'm like, ooh, child. And that's how it ended. I said, But see, next week episode, it looked like Aaron asking the right questions. Because he like, well, how it ain't mine? That's what we all want to know, because they all bow chickie wow wow around the same time. So why wouldn't it be his? Like, I don't know, child. But anyway, that was the episode. Y'all let me know what y'all felt about it down there in them comments. I told you it really wasn't a lot that happened, but I still got to review it and stuff like that, because you got to go into the sequence and stuff of it. And I'm back, so we gonna do what we got to do. But anyway, like it, subscribe, and hit the notification bell to be notified when I drop new videos. All right, y'all. Until next time.